Hello, I'm Kaziah Cyr from the Channel 16 studio. I'm here today with Amy Dionne, a well-known dog sledder from Madawaska. Welcome, Amy.
Hi, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
What made you gain interest in dog sledding?
Well, I was going to college at UMFK, and I was living alone in an apartment, and I've always loved dogs. So one day I decided to get a dog, and I saw an ad for some Alaskan Huskies in Canada. Well, I contacted the person, and the person who had the dogs he dog sledded, so I bought the dog off of him, and a couple days later he invited me for a ride, and I went to take a ride, and about 10 miles out on the trail he had me jump on the runners. So once I jumped on the runners, it was downhill from there. I bought 3 more dogs, and now we have 19 racing dogs right now.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
What makes dog sledding special to you?
Well, first of all, it's just being out on the trail by myself. You have to be very self-sufficient. You have to take care of the dogs. Just appreciating nature's it's awesome. It's just nice being out there, being able to see wildlife and different trails, and you get to discover it from the back of a dog sled. So
right,
yeah,
that's nice. How do you go about training for races?
I actually start for training for races. We usually start in about, I say mid-August, but last year we were actually able to start in the end of July, because we only start training anything below 50 degrees. We start training. So last year, July, we hit some nights it was like 36, 40 degrees, so we were able to start training, and it was great. So we had a pretty successful year, and we start on 4-wheeler. We used to do an engineless 4-wheeler, but now we train with an engine because we go much further, because we're training for the 250. So we start in the fall. We go all the way up until we start putting chains on the 4-wheeler. And then we jump on the snowmobile, and then we jump on the dog sled. So we need about a good 8 inches on the ground before we can go on the dog sled. So, yeah. And we train about, we probably train every training run's different, but I usually train about 5 to 6 days a week. And we go about, our shortest training runs in the wintertime when we're on dog sled is about 10 miles. Those are our shortest ones, and our longest ones, we've done 80 milers, so, for training.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you say that training your dogs in general, giving them the knowledge of the commands, would you say that's kind of difficult at times?
Well, they're born to run, and so you can just pick up a regular pet dog and train him to dog sled, but these dogs, right now I have a litter of 6 puppies, and by the time we do different stuff with them during the fall time when they start walking and stuff, and by the time we get them in harness, I usually put them in harness around March. They usually get in harness next March, and they put them in harness, and I put them next to a veteran dog, and they just go. There's not much training involved, and our leaders, they pick up. I've got 2 solid leaders, and I'll put the ones that I want for upcoming leaders, I'll put them right in back of the leaders. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Have you learned any important life lessons from dog sledding?
To be very patient, because they are dogs, and we got to communicate on a different level. So I have a lot of patience now. And just enjoy. I approach every situation with a smile and a fresh mind, and I take everything with a grain of salt from now on, and everything is just, the dogs are always happy, nothing affects them, so I try to always be happy, and yeah. So.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever stop racing?
No.
No.
Ever since I started, I did shorter distances. I've been dog sledding for 6 years now, and I've done shorter distances in the past. I worked my way up to 60 milers, and then this past year, I wasn't supposed to start distance racing until 2017.
Right.
So, and this year, my friends they pushed me to sign up for the 250. So, a little bit of peer pressure there, but I ended up signing up for it. And usually when I sign up for something, I don't back out. So I ended up doing the 100, and my first 100 miler was in Eagle Lake. and after you go out 50 miles, you stop at a checkpoint and you stop for about 4 hours, and then you come back another 50. When I was about 80 miles out on the trail on my way to the finish, it was just like, you can't put words into it. It was just amazing. Like the dogs at 80 miles, those dogs, they only had 4 hours of rest, and at 80 miles they were just hammering down. They were running, and I couldn't ask for any more. So it was just a feeling that I couldn't put aside. And the 250, it's 3 days long, and on my way back, when I hit because we hit different trails on the way back,
right.
We ended up on the 60-miler trail, and it was like an adventure at that point. It didn't feel like a race. It was more of I was out, just exploring with my dogs. So it was pretty cool. I don't think I'll ever stop racing, or at least dog sledding. So
it sounds like dog sled racing has its own beauty to it.
Oh yes, yeah. It's definitely something else. So
I'm glad you can find so much happiness in dog sled racing.
Yeah.
So that was all we had for today. Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm Kaziah Cyr, signing out.